We got a cuck chair. Hello guys, it's 899 and welcome to today's video, and today we're going to go through our tips and predictions for round 12 of the 2026 NRL season. Last round is Magic Round. Hell, this is the apartment I've been staying in. We're still in Brisbane. We fly back tomorrow, but we actually did it. We had a perfect round last week. I don't know how we did it either, so I think let's just try to keep this momentum going as we're having a shortened round, obviously, due to the start of State of Origin next week. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Starting off on Thursday night, we have the Canberra Raiders taking on the Dolphins. Now, the Raiders were the sole team that missed out on Magic Round, whilst the Dolphins are coming off a pretty sizable win over the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Looking into the team list, both teams having a fair amount of outs, but more so the Dolphins. Amisa Tabuafoto, Cody Nikarima, Max Plaff, Selwyn Cobbo, and Thomas Flegler, which most of them being a part of the Queensland team. And then you got Ethan Strange, Hudson Young, and Simi Sasagi out for the Raiders, with Hudson Young playing for the Blues. This game's going to be quite an interesting one. It might be a pretty close match because, I mean, I've been at Magic Round all weekend. A close match would be a welcome change. But I think this is going to be a hard one to pick. I might just give the edge out to Canberra. I just think they've still got a bit more of their squad there. I mean, to be fair, Dolphins could very much get the job done, but I just think Canberra might just edge it out. Now we go to the 8 p.m. game on the Friday night as we have the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs taking on the Melbourne Storm. Now, the Bulldogs are coming off, let's just say, not the best of performances against the Cronulla Sharks in Magic Round, whilst the Melbourne Storm have bounced back and slapped up Parramatta. Still, fair few players out, especially with the selections of Origin, Lapoi Hopoi, and Stephen Crichton out for the Bulldogs, with Cameron Munster, Harry Grant, and Trent Lorio out for the Storm. So this might be an interesting one to see if the Bulldogs could get a win here, because they've not been great the last couple of weeks. I mean, a lot of teams haven't been, but the Storm in specifics. But I think this is the match where they should be able to get it done. 30 versus 14th, Bulldogs must need a win, especially with the amount of pressure currently on their coaching staff and a certain chuckling attacking coach. Sorry, actually punched out the screen at Magic Round. It's about time he showed some attacking prowess. But I'm going to say that I think the Bulldogs get this win here. Could be close. I don't know. Be a nice welcome change. And now we go to Saturday, where at 5:30 we have the St George Illawarra Dragons taking on the New Zealand Warriors. Now the Dragons are coming off, honestly, actually pretty decent fight. They haven't played too badly against the Panthers, but they still end up losing 28-6 despite an absolute ridiculous call involving Damien Cook. Whilst the Warriors are coming off winning the real battle of Brisbane, smacking up the Broncos. A lot of talk about the penalty count and the sets and set restarts, but there is also a bit of an element when it comes to, because I understand that set restarts and penalties and being lopsided is a problem, but they kind of weren't penalties though. It's one of those things. I mean, Brisbane were way too ill-disciplined, but there has been a few casualties for the Warriors. Kurt Capel and Mitch Barnett are out for Origin duty, whilst Tanner Boyd has unfortunately done his ACL, with Moses Sully being the only out for the Dragons. As much as I want to say that the Dragons could be able to get this done, I think we're still going to keep seeing them improve, but the Warriors are just on a bit of a generational run at the moment. I'm going to say that I think the Warriors get it done. And now we go to the 7:35 match on the Saturday as we have the Manly Seagulls taking on the Gold Coast Titans. Manly are coming off almost putting 50 on the West Tigers, whilst the Titans are coming off. They had an okay game in the first half against the Knights, but then I think it was more so the Knights just weren't really there. But when the Knights kicked on in the second half, it was just ran rough riot. And of course there are a couple of players out for both teams. Amal Olka Artuli, Hopalade and Tola Takula are out for the Seagulls, while Jojo Fafita and Tina Fasua Malawi are out for the Gold Coast. I feel like this could be a little bit of an equaliser, but I mean, Manly just, ever since Kieran Foran's come in, he's been absolute rough shot, run riot. Manly have just been a completely different team, and I just think they keep this going and keep the momentum through. I think Manly get the win at home. And then we go into the final match of the round, Sunday 4 p.m, as we have the North Queensland Cowboys taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, the Cowboys are coming off the only close match from this round, being an 18-12 win over the Roosters, despite the fact that the refs kind of really didn't want them winning that. It's been a bit of a running trend with the Roosters recently, while South Sydney, as mentioned in the first game, just really couldn't get any type of momentum going against the Dolphins in wet conditions on the Friday. Now, unfortunately, in terms of outs, there is a fair amount for South Sydney, but if we're looking at the Cowboys, there's Braden Burns and Ruben Cotter, while South Sydney have got 5 players out: Bailey Benti-Hay, Cameron Murray, Campbell Graham, Jaden Sullivan and Latrell Mitchell. And I just think that could be a close game if both teams were full strength, but I think with the amount of outs they're going to be, I think the Cowboys are just going to be too good and run roughshod. So there we go. That is the end of the tips. Who do you guys have this week? Let me know in the comments below. If you're watching this on Tuesday, tune in tomorrow. Do an actual proper review of the Queensland and New South Wales squads ahead of Game 1. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to get into Origin time. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.